Righty-ho, we're back. We're back to talk about more Manchester United stuff. More United stuff. Hope everyone's doing well. It is Tuesday evening, on a wet and windy night in England. It's not even Stoke syndrome anymore. It's just the whole country now. And you know what? This might just be, the scene out of. I don't know if it was Day After Tomorrow I think it's Day After Tomorrow or something like that, where massive waves, tidal waves. I can't remember what film it's from. Massive tidal waves are going through New York, and it's just all apocalyptic, right? That sort of scene, and it's all over the UK. It's just it doesn't stop here anymore. It's just, the doomsday clock might be talking about society breaking down and all of that jazz, but when in reality, it's probably just the weather. The weather in the UK is just getting that bad that it might just start festering itself all over the world. Might just be, the beginning of the end. It's the end of the world, people. I'll tell you what it is probably, hopefully, the beginning of the end of mediocrity of Manchester United Football Club. My club might eventually be out of the mud, and that will be something to celebrate. For me, at least. It's scary. It's scary, but not for us. So, yeah. And as you can see, smash a like for Bayendir. Looks like he's actually going to be able to start a game because Cameroon, they stay in the tournament with their win tonight. Therefore, Andre Onana's international duties are prolonged. And yeah, that is it's just an absolute mess with Andre Onana right now. And this whole situation with the Cameroon national team and this whole he's fearing his place in the starting 11. It's just like, well, football's football. There's, millions upon millions of other players that have got to, play for starting places in their teams. It's part of competition to win competitions, a competition for places to win competitions. And it doesn't give sympathy votes. Let's put it that way. It doesn't deal sympathy votes. So Bayendir looks like he's going to actually start a game for Manchester United. And it's probably going to be for our next game, which comes next weekend, I believe, in the FA Cup. I believe it's against Newport County. So it's going to be interesting. It's an ideal game to come into the team. So fair play. So hopefully he does well with it. But we're here today to talk about Manchester United stories, predominantly front and centering this show with the transfer news regarding CASEMIRO and Aaron BISSAKA and supposed interest from Saudi Arabia. They want to buy these players, and it's Saudi Arabia. So as Stephanie Griffith here has spoken about, big ups to Stephanie. Always a pleasure to see you in chat. If both are wanted by Saudi, slap 100 million fee on CASEMIRO and 60 million on BISSAKA. That's what Chelsea would do. £40 million profit. Test if they're serious. Now, unless there are, unless Woodward's gone out to Saudi Arabia to catch a tan, but to also, run another footballing asset into the ground, then you might get offers. You might get offers with those sorts of those fees in that kind of ballpark. So, let's roll with the punches. Let's see how much we can, we can demand money from these Saudi clubs, because you got money to burn, right? You got to burn. I suppose it really comes also down to the players. Would they chase the bag? Are they going to go after the bag, or are they going to want to put career ambitions first? I suppose that's almost a test that a lot of players. You'd put them to the sword with that, and just to really sort of test loyalties and genuine passions and desires for their footballing ambitions. And perhaps a lot of them would jump ship to chase the bag in Saudi, when in actuality, is probably most of them would oppose to the idea. They probably would stay in European competitions for the sake of chasing, I'd say, prestige, chasing prestige, because that's kind of where football is in Europe. It's kind of at the top end of footballing prestige, um, for players from all around the world. So I'll tell you what, if it was Saudi Arabian players were, at a high enough level of quality, I could almost assure you that there would be players from Saudi Arabia moving to join other teams in the Premier Leagues, in Ligas, Bundesliga, Serie A's, La Ligas, you name it. Um, but yeah, that's just kind of the whole. That's just kind of the deal with that. But yes, interest from CASEMIRO and WAN-BISSAKA. Would we sell them? Now, Ineos have spoken already about a need to, slash budgets to slimline Manchester United to be more efficient, proficient. Um, and it might come in the sacrifice, or in the form of sacrificing some of the better players in the team for the sake of cutting down wage bills to instill balance on the balance sheets. Balance the sheets on the balance sheets. So I think that right now is kind of it's out of the question for anything January wise. I think any sales of players or purchases of players, I think, is beyond pretty much any realm of possibility. I mean, for two reasons. One, it's Ineos are not actually here, and there's no director of football yet. I say there's no director of football because John Murtaugh's going to get busted out. He's going to get booted out the door. The second that Ineos get control, Brailsford is just going to pick up the phone to Ashworth, and Ashworth's going to be like, cool, I'll see you in an hour. I'll see you in an hour or two. And the second he gets there, Murtaugh will be halfway down to London. He'll be halfway down to London, probably getting set up in the job centre again, looking for another line of work. Might be the case. It might be the case. Personally, with the mediocrity of the job he's done at Manchester United, I would not be sorry to see him go. I won't be sorry to see him go. I'd say it's a bit harsh to say good riddance to bad rubbish, but it's actually that. Let's be real. It's that. It's good riddance to bad rubbish. So yeah, to me, um, well, yeah, reason number two that we can't talk about purchases or sales is because Murtaugh Madness is still in charge. I've seen the story about the only transfer target, which we'll get onto, which is the next story after this one. That a 6-month loan deal. They're hoping, the club are hoping, or in this case, John Murtaugh is hoping to get this deal wrapped up by the end of the window. Imagine that. You are absolutely scared shitless of getting a 6-month loan deal for a 34-year-old striker over the line, and there's still over a week left to go of the transfer window. Still just over a week. Like this, it's well, I think it's thereabouts a week, but even still, you're terrified of getting this deal done in time. I mean, they'll probably unveil him literally the last second before the transfer window shuts. They'll probably release the official communication. Manchester United have agreed to sign Choupo-Moting, last second in the January transfer window. But that is the only business that we're going to do. That's the only thing that's planned. Unless United decide, you know what, Saudi, you can take CASEMIRO, you can take AWB. It don't mean nothing to us. So, yeah, personally, I don't think it would happen. If it is going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen in January transfer window. It's going to be all summer talk. And that's the thing. As I said, sale talks, purchase talks, any transfers of those ilks is going to happen in the summer because, again, got to get the director of football in. You've got to establish the foundations. What is your project? Establish the groundworks, and then you start taking piece by piece and start to make things into what you want them to be. And I can imagine Casemiro, AWB, they're both assets that you would um, consider to be parts of a process in sort of journeying towards a new Manchester United. And I think Ineos and guys like that would be wanting or desperate to have the influence over what they want to do with someone like a WAN-Bissaka or a Casemiro, because we still got a board that is that inept and useless at selling players as well as buying them. That I think I'm actually all in this camp. I for the sake of generating more profit for some of our players, it's better having a competent board that actually knows how to sell, knows how to buy, knows how to do the basic fundamentals of a transfer window. So, and moving on to the only transfer story for Manchester United in January is Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting is looking like he is on the way in to Manchester United. I think it was meant to be a sort of Timo Werner. That was the sort of prized interest, if you will, for a lone striker coming in this window. And again, it's Murder Madness and Glazonomics. Sit on your fingers, write stories to speculate about all the targets that we might need to sign, but don't sign them until you pick on who it is you want to sign, but don't sign them now. Sign them at the last possible moment of the window to build the drama. Dramatize it so it drives trends in interactions. And that's what we've got to do as part of social media FC. Build traction, build interaction, and if you build it and hype it up enough, maybe Eric Choupo-Moting might actually have the same sort of excitement that Ronaldo's return to Manchester United had. He's probably not going to have the same fanfare, but they'll try. That's how delusional and backwards the whole, the model of Glazonomic business is. That's just what to expect. I'm not fussed with Choupo-Moting. I wasn't fussed with any of the striker targets, to be quite frankly honest. These are probably the final days. This January transfer window is probably the final days where we go out worrying about silly little loan deals to plug something between now and the end of the season. So yeah, and he's not a fantastic player. He's had a very, very fortunate career path. Let's be honest. Some of the journeyman clubs he's ended up on. It's like him and Martin Braithwaite. God only knows. I think he's Danish striker Martin Braithwaite. God only knows how he's managed to get half of the transfer moves that he's managed. So it's just absolute madness with Choupo-Moting. Just looking at the wider perspective of things, but it's kind of like you know how low you sunk when it's like, well, signing Choupo-Moting on a loan deal is better than absolutely nothing, because we kind of need that little bit of extra depth up top with some differentiation in the players that you have available to you. So, it just kind of is what it is. And hopefully it's the case that this is the last kind of deal like this that we do before we start to leave days of mediocrity behind and, further transfers. If we are scouting players in the January market. We sign them early, we sign them quick, and that they've got good profiles to them. So, let me know what you guys think about that. Chipumotting. Are you excited? Are you excited for Chipumotting? We making a second half of the season title charge in the Premier League. Are we going to go undefeated now? I mean, someone out there definitely believes we will. I can guarantee you that. It's the world of football. People do think like that, strangely enough. Stephanie Griffith says Storm 2 hitting Northern Ireland hard. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Literally, we've had like record amount of storms across this winter period. Absolute mad stuff. Maybe it's the climate change, the double CC, the forbidden CC. But you know, is what it is. We'll deal with things as it comes. I'll say this, but then my stream deck tomorrow will probably be half me underwater. It's just sorry guys, between yesterday's stream and now, the water's flooded. It's flooded the house. I'm half swimming. I slept on a float, a pool float last night, and as you can see, I'm a little bit waterlogged. You'll see the little cruise ship just sailed past my bedroom window behind me. And obviously not when I've got this grand Kenny Ken's house basically, because currently Kenny Ken's been kind enough to rent this, for me to rent this place for a couple streams here and there. So big ups to Kenny Ken. Thank you very much for the generosity. I suppose I would need to rent a place out like this if climate were to go kind of crazy and haywire. So it's a luscious retreat. It's a luscious escape. We'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. But 2 likes for watching. Make sure that we are smashing them likes. And that's the call. The call to arms. The smashing a like for Bayindir. It's a celebration, guys. Bayindir's getting a game from Manchester United, so celebrate. We celebrate for Bayindir. We celebrate now, and then you'll actually be the only reason why we lose to Newport County next weekend. So, or this weekend rather. It'd just be so typical. Can't see AWB going, but you never know. Yeah, I mean, there might be a case where there's a lot of these players that we don't expect to go, that we don't have on our to sell list, and out of nowhere you'll get a story saying, yeah, this player's moving to this club for X amount of money. I think this summer transfer window is going to be filled with surprises. 100% is going to be filled with surprises. And you know what? It's going to be absolute madness. I think I'm going to have a real tough time keeping up with everything. Do you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to love every second of it. So, yeah. And hopefully you guys will be there to tag along with me and all of that good stuff. 3 likes. We're up to 6 likes currently. I know I'm sort of half catching up to chat. Signing Mount baffled me in the summer, but increasing his weekly wage from 200 to 250k was an absolute madness. Signing Mason Mount just should never have happened, to be honest. Should never have ever happened. It made no sense to me. I said, look, if you can't get him for real cheap, then don't get him at all. And even for the cheap, I'd be sort of, question marks on that. And with some of the narratives surrounding that story coming out the way that they have, it sort of tells the whole story. So not great. Panic window replaces panic room. I'll tell you what, if he goes into a new line of work, maybe John Murta, he can be someone who owns a panic room. Except here's the problem. His clues and riddles wouldn't actually make any sense. And most people that would go into a John Murta panic room would actually end up getting stuck there. And then reality of panic would sink in. And there'll just be loads of locked panic rooms all over the country. John Murta running from law enforcement and things like that. Big up Sam Herbert. Hope you're well. Just remember, it's for the greater good. The greater good. The greater good. 100%. Big ups to you, man. Good to see you as always. And looking forward to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night as well, people. Believe it again, 8:30 p.m. over, hosted on Early Doors Football TV channel. We have got a stream coming up. It is episode 2 of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And if you've seen the thumbnail, I'm no longer in ugly. I've managed to make it into bad. I'm still not quite in the good yet, but bad's kind of where I have to stay right now because, as you know, Arsenal have got their title charge back on. They're going to win the Prem again, guys. So, all that good stuff. Big ups to Rajat. Good to see you, buddy. Would have kept either Hugo or McNeil personally. I think there's a risk with that. I think it's a potential over-reliance on youth, I think, or that they're not quite at the first team level yet, as far as technical ability is concerned. Not to say that they're that far off. I just think that the options of loaning those guys is, to me, better as opposed to keeping them around and putting faith in a manager playing them when he's kind of going to back his guy, his boy, in Rasmus Højlund, ahead of anybody else getting game time. And I mean, it's kind of similar situation with for Sandro Palestri. I was thinking, look, if guys like Anthony, Sancho, those guys are suspended, and all that stuff, surely he'd get more game time. Diallo's out injured. But instead, Garnacho and Rashford were taking up all the game time. And or Bruno. Bruno was playing out wide on the right, and it wasn't working. So, yeah, it wasn't great. And it's a shame because I would have liked to have seen Palestri get more involvement in this team. How about Igalo 2.0? Or can try to get Vouty? Do you know what? I think Wout Weghorst will literally, if we even remotely utter Wout Weghorst's name in the halls of Carrington, literally this guy will start pulling off the longest knee slide you've ever seen in football, ever. I mean, it might be like the advert where it's just that bloke celebrating with the knee slide and he's just like, he's doing laps all over the pitch. Just keeping his knee slide, like man's literally accelerating on the knee slide. So man would knee slide his way back over to Manchester United the second that even the wind murmurs his name, But I'll tell you what, Glazers and Murta, they wouldn't be against doing that deal. They really, really wouldn't. Oh, the relief to hear the Fuzzy. Oh, the relief to see the Rossi back in my chat. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I've missed you. I hope Rome's treated you well. I need to ask you, Rossi. Have any of them AS Roma ultras out there said anything about Daniele De Rossi being the best looking Italian they know? Have anybody feel that way about their glorious manager? Anybody feeling that way out in Italy? Excited. 7.5 out of 10. Wow. I'll tell you what. That's probably what Mercer will rate this transfer window. We'll sign Choupo-Moting, and that is it, on loan for 6 months. And you'll go, that's a solid 8 out of 10 window, guys. Well done. Pat yourselves on the back. Smash the likes. Please do. Please do. And up to 7 likes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Big up Fuzzy. Finally a real one on YouTube. Big ups to Long Ed Yeti, man. Good to see you, man. Mate, I'm tired today. I'm really tired. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm off the chocolate milk stuff at the moment. I've save this water, and I'm getting my fluids up. I don't drink anywhere near enough water as I should do, so well, I kind of need this. But fear not, I will whip that chocolate milk out back after this. Hey Stephanie, hope the storm isn't too bad for you. Be safe. The storm is not so bad over here. Um, not so bad over here, but it never stops. It never stops. I know there's definitely a lot of other places in the UK right now that is just, yeah, I wouldn't want to be there. I'll put it this way: I'd much rather be sat on the sunny south coast of Portugal, even if it is raining. I'd much rather be sat on the rainy south coast of Portugal, just with my feet kicked up, embracing the Portuguese showers. At least it's not freezing cold like it is in the UK half the time. And there's no ridiculously high hurricane-esque winds as well. So it's a double positive. Fuzz from Atlantis might be that way, rising sea levels and all. Might have to be. It might have to turn this into a Sea World stream. You know, we follow Manchester United Football Club from under the sea. We might have to do that. Might be a first. Might be trend setting here. Nice. It is a pool party fuzz. Now you've given that sort of idea, I can probably imagine that will end up being a trend for a hot tub stream or something. I'll start a GoFundMe to buy us a hot tub for this property, and then if we get a hot tub installed and do a hot tub stream. I'll do one if Man United win the league. Now I've said that, they're going to make it happen. People will make it happen, I swear. Zest up them likes. Zesty. Like the zesty wrong ones you all are. But yeah, big ups to everybody that does smash a like on the stream. Really appreciate it. Big up Fuzzy, big up Tony. Tony Ibarra, how we doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. One more thing, just one more thing. Oh, damn, CFC up. Ah, boo. Oh, they're 3-0 up now. That's boring. Oh, why can't Caddy Ball just, compile the misery of Chelsea? It would be fantastic. It'll make for great showing, great entertainment. Unfortunately, it's not going to be. We ain't doing anything yet. We are on bare bones craziness. Yeah. You're still bad, but glad I'm not ugly. Should always be. But don't tell him I said that. It's on stream now, Anthony. He's always going to find out about that now. It's on stream. It's on record. And people who might share my stream, it might reach the ears of everybody else called Tony as well. Find out some bloke called Anthony Herbert said that Tony was ugly. Take it out of context. Everybody named Tony's going to think, what's this accusation? How dare you? How dareth Anthony Herbert call me the greatest Tony alive, the best looking Tony everyone knows? Ugly. Unbelievable stuff. Quickly, we're going to address this other topic as well. Roberto De Zerbi, manager links. Word has it, it's a speculative rumor, and it was regarded as a speculative rumor, given that the incoming CEO of Manchester United, the once blue Omar Barada, fancied, not quite like Top Gooners and Mikel Arteta, but he fancied the proposition of Roberto De Zerbi being a replacement manager or a candidate to replace Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. So it might give a sense of a direction as to where perhaps the structural hierarchy will want to go and take the managerial project. But we say that Eric Ten Hag was also on a candidate shortlist to potentially replace Pep Guardiola. And it's an interesting conversation to have, because I think there's a lot of people who would rather stick with Ten Hag than go with De Zerbi. Not to say that De Zerbi's a bad manager. I think he is a great manager, but it's just, is that is that the level for a manager that we want to kickstart the big resurgence of Manchester United Football Club? Is that the manager that takes us to the glory days again? Um, I think it would be anyone's guess. I don't think it's impossible, but more to the case that it'd be unlikely. I don't know how everybody else feels about De Zerbi. I think there's a lot of United content creators that have posed that question, and plenty of people giving different answers or different percentages. Um, for me, I'm not completely against the idea of De Zerbi being Manchester United manager. I think there are potentially better candidates out there that we can try and lure to the club. But it all depends on what the situation with the board's going to be. Because if you've got a board that's, for example, and just a quick one by the way, I'm actually kind of glad that it was not just a consultancy thing. That Jean-Claude Blanc is actually going to have a seat on the Manchester United board. So he is going to be here to stay, which is always a positive. Jean-Claude Blanc and Omar Berrada working together to lead Manchester United, with the specialists of Dan Ashworth and Paul Mitchell sat underneath them, really making things tick, and then a appointed manager or the remaining manager to then work on things on the pitch. One thing's apparent is that with managers coming to Manchester United, the theme of old is that it was always manager, assistant manager, and maybe one other, and that's it. All the other coaches have to be sort of hand-me-downs, and it's never really a full coaching setup that a manager's ever been allowed to bring in, which is not ideal for any case for any manager. So it's essentially like I've said with probably a time or two before, that it feels like with Manchester United managers, just the simple fact that you accept taking the job puts one arm behind your back. What are you going to do with the other arm? Can you cook up a brothel with just the one hand under immense pressure and time restraints? Probably going to struggle with that. So yeah, for me, it's going to be good to see an overhaul. Whether that means De Zerbi comes to Manchester United, we'll have to see. Could be Graham Potter, could be Gareth Southgate. I probably would say that this whole takeover thing was the biggest, most unbelievable failure ever. If Gareth Southgate does decide to be the guy that walks in, or I say Gareth Southgate decides, if everybody else decides Gareth Southgate's going to be the guy to take over from, Eric Ten Hag or whoever else. CASEMIRO and WAN would be the last ones I would want out, to be honest. I think he's one of the later names I would get rid of. But if there's a bigger picture at play, I don't think we should be completely against it. I think it'll be you've got to keep things open-minded. Evening, Mr. Fuzz. Hope you're good. I'm doing well. Si. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. No AWB crap. Get him to leave. There's quite a few people that I think need to get to leave as well, Rajat. Can't just be one. I think we need to make quite a few other people leave as well. I think if you get rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Dalot's got to go as well, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is probably the better of the two fullbacks. Not by much. It's like they're polar opposites for a fullback. Dalot's great at attacking, crap at defending. AWB's great at defending, but crap at attack. And we want to find someone that's quite even Stevens with that. If you say Vout 3 times, a piece of Old Trafford falls from the roof. Wow. You might as well say that. What's the name of this this second storm that is making landfall? If you say, I think the winter's probably spamming that name. If you've just said that, just Vout. Wout Vankhorst. Oh, Wout Vankhorst. You got to just pronounce it like it's a Dutch name. Vankhorst. Vankhorst. Wout. Ouch. Yeah, that's what happens. Is if they do the Wout chants in the Stretford end, you very slowly start to hear it going from Wout, Wout, Wout to ow, 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 ow. You just see bits of Old Trafford falling onto the Stretford end as Wout, Wout, of course. Rajat couldn't bring himself to say it 3 times. Good to see you, Adolf Fuzzler. I haven't got. I mean, a missed opportunity a little bit because I did sort of. I did give myself a bit of a shave around, you know, around the whiskers and all. But I missed the opportunity to really get my channel cancelled and taken off the internet and just swept into the realms of despair and great sad. Just a big sad. Now, Fuzz 44 channel, he started doing up that Austrian bloke. Yeah, you stick that in the bin. First, he said put good looking Rossi, and that's Carl Rossi. That's probably a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. There can only be one good looking Rossi in Rome. And Danilo De Rossi, I'll tell you what, he probably ducked when he saw the great Carl Rossi touching down in Rome. But I actually bumped into some fans of Roma. They are skeptical of his appointment. The way it should be. Prove yourself before a cult forms. Yeah, the way that the Arteta mob, the way the Arteta mob shouldn't have existed. It should have started off like that. It should have been skepticism. It should have been people say, well, look, you say give him time. I will, I'll afford him the time he deserves. And if he shows me very quickly that he's not worthy of that time, if he's underqualified, I mean, if you've got people like, the likes of Lee Gunner saying or putting out, viewpoints on Mikel Arteta before he was even appointed. I don't want this guy. I don't want him here. And he still doesn't to this day. So, AS Roma fans, if you don't want Danilo De Rossi, don't tell Arsenal fans because they will call you toxic and they'll call you negative. But then again, they'll probably have to fly over to Rome to tell that to your face because unlike Arsenal fans, there's probably quite a lot of these Roma elite fans that don't go pansying themselves all over social medias. You probably don't get that culture out in Rome. Because if somebody in the family who's a Roma ultra, starts pansying themselves around on the internet, they probably get a slap at the family get-togethers. Just queue up with different weapons of mass destruction, and each slap is with a dose of reality. Don't fool yourself. But yeah, it's glad to. Well, I'm hoping you enjoyed yourself. I'm pretty sure you would have done. But if you have done so, then fantastic. Glad you would have enjoyed your trip out to Rome. And I'm sure that you would have absolutely enjoyed some good old proper classic Italian food as well. Because there ain't quite food quite like Italian food in Italy. Let's put it that way. Not getting FDJ and getting 2 beers, Mercer and Judge happy. Yeah, I mean, Matt Judge, that's another, oh my God, the guy that looks like a thumb. Literally, Matt Judge the thumb, the human thumb, literally looks like a thumb. Type him up on Google, Manchester United Matt Judge, the guy looks like a thumb. You would literally, a picture of this comes up. Picture of that comes up. It's credible, crazy stuff. But I'll tell you what, literally, all of that, it must have been. So I'll tell you what, I wish that there were cameras like the whole, the All for Nothing documentary was running on Manchester United, and there was a big segment, John Murta trying to figure out how to get Frankie de Jong to come to Manchester United. That would be brilliant to have a segment on that to see just how incompetent he was at his job, along with Richard Arnold as well. Happy Butcher back at centre back. Yep. Big miss in our defence, and a bit of accountability and responsibility as well. Got to credit the the personality traits of one Alessandro Martinez, because he's not one to shrink. He's not one. Well, it's quite ironic I used the term shrink because he's already quite short. He's probably shrunk in the wash. Accidentally, as a child, was put in the wash by his mum and shrunk him. He's supposed to be 6'4", the 6'4" butcher, but then he had to settle for a butcher on the pitch. You could only be the butcher on the pitch. Either that, or he got into a butchering accident at an earlier stage in his life, and he ended up losing parts of his legs, so he's inadvertently shorter now. It's possible. It might have happened. Can't say it didn't happen. People got their secrets. I'm sure Lissandro he won't share those secrets. We'll let him keep his secrets. Just as long as he keeps performing at centre back for us. Oh man. Dan Ashworth, Mr. Dan Ashworth, Newcastle, priority number 1. Now the case, the CEO has been sorted out, and that's the first domino of the official positions that Manchester United has fallen. The next one being Dan Ashworth, by the looks of it, and that the work towards actually getting him in is now serious. Now we'll have to see whether it takes a long time or a short time. I'd suppose it should be quicker. It should be quicker if it is going to be a quick case of bringing Dan Ashworth to the club. It would be because Dave Brailsford, who is a long-time friend, a good buddy to Dan Ashworth, who is apparently, by reports, a very persuasive figure. Very, very persuasive. Very good at talking the good talk and suaveying people into the projects of Sir Dave Brailsford. And you know what? If he's going to beat Sir Dave Brailsford, once the second he picks that phone up, that deal is done and dusted. But then again, it might go completely tits up, and he might screw the pooch. He might not come. He might not want to leave Newcastle. You can't rule this out again. You keep an open mind. It might not happen. So let's be cautiously optimistic, I think, is the fair thing. The fair term. Cautiously optimistic. Effort now seriously qualifying. No, 3-0 Chelsea, that's not good. It's not good. Well, it's 4-0. It's actually 4-0. Big Fuzzy, bigger for Fang Division. Hope you're doing well, mate. You doing watch along at the moment? You're doing watch along? If you are currently doing a watch along, or you might be busy, I think you say you're going to get Wednesdays off now. So, but if there is anybody doing a watch along or Chelsea watch along from the communities, I'm sure I'll be sure to link you guys over to them watch alongs to spread the love and spread the viewership and all of that good stuff. And we'll wrap up the topics of the stream. The topics of the show with the talk of about a new training ground. Now, the word has it that's the same person that led the project on the Leicester City training ground, which, if you've seen the pictures of it, looks futuristic as all hell. It looks really snazzy, really fancy. Shame it's for a championship club, and shame that the funding for that Leicester City training ground project was probably funded by the sale of Harry Maguire for £80 million to Manchester United. Thanks for that. We bought a fridge off of Leicester, and we gave them the money to build a state-of-the-art training facility. Great job. Only Manchester United could do that. But, yeah, supposedly that same person is going to be leading a project to instilling a new training facility for Manchester United. And you know what? Yes, if it even looks half as snazzy as Leicester's training ground, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. I think it's, things to be excited about. They're looking at properties, looking at places that would be suitable to allocate as the new training location. By the looks of it, we are probably going to be moving away from Carrington, and somewhere probably more geographically appropriate, perhaps, possibly. I don't know where the location is. They've not settled on one. I think the designs team will be drawing up plans as to what they want the place to look like, how they want it to be situated, the style of it, the design, whatever, all the structural conversations and all of that stuff. And of course, with Ineos on the backing of it, they like to be innovators. They like to be innovators. So it might be a design piece of innovation. So this might be something to be excited about, especially if you do work at Carrington. You'll be like, cool, I get to have an upgraded office, one that has a built-in indoor pool that I can jump into with my fully Ineos branded, fully proof, waterproof suit, and my splash proof electronics, so that when I have had enough of dealing with a spam load of emails from Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford telling me how unfair Eric Ten Hag has been to them, that I can just close that laptop, turn around and go dive bomb, fully suited and booted into a swimming pool and get out and face no repercussions from it. That would be great. That'd be fantastic. But I mean, we're probably living in a dream world, to be fair, if that's going to be the case. But it's something to look forward to. It is something to look forward to. Definitely a big positive, considering that it's no secret to anybody that Carrington is outdated, as is Old Trafford. Old Trafford developments, I think they're going to focus on doing all of the small bits, like the necessary fixing of Old Trafford that they need to do first before they do anything further in terms of renovations or expansions or just a new project, if that's where they decide to go. I think Old Trafford will see the small but necessary works. It might actually mean we stop getting leaks at Old Trafford. And so if we don't get leaks, then yay, fantastic. That's something we can celebrate, especially if you hold a season ticket and your seat allocation is usually where the leak is. Then you'll be extra happy, most certainly. 20,000 leagues under the sea. That's where Manchiti should be playing. Well, that's the thing. People talking about Manchester City and relegation, and people that are the insiders saying that's the probable, or that's probably the minimum. That's the minimum outcome for Manchester City if 115 gets given as a guilty verdict on the case of Manchester City. So, yeah, it's one to look out for. One to look out for. 9 likes. Big ups to people. Thank you very much to those of you who are liking the stream. Big ups to our 151st subscriber. Whoever that may be, it's a private subscriber, so it doesn't give me the notification as to who it is. But big hats off to whoever that is. Really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already yourselves, then please do subscribe, because I would love to get more and more people on board in these streams, and getting more people to chat to. The more the merrier is the phrasing for these kind of shows. Yo, them's is fighting words, Fuzzy. If only, Steph. Man City paid for that UCL title. Well, I know Barcelona did. I know Barcelona paid referees for their titles. what you could say is Man City didn't just pay for it; they overpaid. They overpaid the amount they were allowed to spend for it. Maybe that's what the more of the coined phrase you could say. De Zerbi looks like an alcoholic Santi Cazorla. The Santi Cazorla that never he never got his career back on the rails. The Santi Cazorla, once he moved to Villarreal, the change in scenery, he started drinking the sangria. He couldn't stop smoking the packs as well. He was chill. Like what you don't know, right, is that the time when Santi Cazorla moved out to Villarreal, he actually bought the whole apartment complex opposite to where he kind of lives, and he sits on the for the Arsenal watch-alongs. He'll sit on the opposite balcony, and he's just like, "What's the score update, Lee?" That's probably what Santi Cazorla was doing. You know, yeah, you can only speculate, but Santi Cazorla, the 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 not so fortunate Roberto De Zerbi lookalike. I mean, there are some similarities, but you know, why off the chocolate milk? It's got water. Water's good. Water is good. Water is wet. De Zerbi is Italian David Villa. I mean, I don't know what does De Zerbi look like. Let's have a look. Who does De Zerbi look like? I know that one crazy look-alike between manager and player. One really crazy look-alike is Insigne, the Italian player that used to play for Napoli. I don't know if he still plays for Napoli, but Insigne and Pep Guardiola. Literally, Insigne is Pep Guardiola, but with hair. Literally Pep Guardiola, but he's got a fade. Like the resemblance is uncanny. Um, Literally, looks exactly like Pep Guardiola. Like, what the hell? What? It's illegal to look that similar to somebody else in the same sport profession as you. It's chocolate milk. So it's like like them Japanese raindrop cakes, right? The ones that are literally just see through cakes. It's like that. It's the magically disappearing chocolate milk. Jesus Arena playing out from the back. At what point do stupid managers realise keepers should save goals, not make them? Yeah, modern, modern game, modern football. And there's a lot of people that are not happy with Chelsea beating Middlesbrough tonight. Not a lot of happiness in that. It's got vodka. Yes, straight vodka. Literally a pint of straight vodka. Um, four Cole Palmer penalties. Oh, I'll tell you what. If you if Cole Palmer's getting four penalties in the game, man's literally turning into an ice cube. He's turning into an ice block. Just a block of ice. You can't move him because he's too busy doing that. Oh, it's cold. It's cold. Don't give me another penalty, please. I can't move. I can barely move. My legs are about to fall off. My eyes are weak. My legs are blind. Yeti, please tell Burrow to rose edit. Delo reminds me of Clayton Blackmore back in the day, minus the free kick goals and the famous sunbed. Yeah. We can try force Delo to play CM. He's not bad at it. It's that like the same sort of conversation that you have with Trent Alexander-Arnold. You know, he's not great defensively, but you know the thing is Delo's not really as talented. Not really as talented as Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, yeah, I mean, whether any manager would see that as an option for Diogo Dalot. I mean, we'll have to see. Do not fear Mount is the next Beckham. Bend it like Mount. Mount that ball like Mount. No, actually, don't do that. Don't. No, no. We won't say that. Borrow Rose it. There you go, Si. Need to do it on stream, Yeti. Matt Thumb. Matt Thumb the judge. Painted blue, he could be a Smurf. I think I was talking about Lissandro Martinez. Why don't we look at Van der Ven to place Maguire? Because we're stuck with a board. Well, I mean, in the summer we're stuck with a board that is, that was wetting their knickers with Harry Maguire. Don't want to pay release. We don't want to pay severance pay. We don't want to pay money to leave. Don't want to do that. Can't afford to do that. So then, yeah, you have to say, well, Maguire, I guess he's staying. Literally, they'll be secretly behind closed doors going, yes, my favourite fridge. My favourite fridge gets to stay. That's probably what was going on. Mags. Get Ralph, Dan and Mitchell, because why not? We can do it with all three. I mean, you could get the head of recruitment, the sport director of football, so Dan Ashworth's director of football, the head of recruitment in Paul Mitchell, and then Ralph Rangnick as sort of like an intermediary with technical directors in terms of maintaining the structure of a club or the integrity of a club structure. Might get a little bit stacked, a little bit too stacked, you could say. And maybe we could incur the conversation of too many cooks spoil the brothel at that point. But I'll tell you what, it would take the absolute piss if we were to get just everybody. Every most well-respected name that could possibly take prestigious jobs that Manchester United takes them. Literally, people are already on strings from rival clubs about Omar, Birada, going to United, and the fact that no one actually saw it coming. Nobody. City fans are livid. Got Liverpool supporters saying that's bad news for everybody else. I mean, word is on the street that Manchester United could, if all goes well, touch wood, if all goes well, that Manchester United could well and truly be on the way back. Lil J, aka Jack Zambian Man, big ups to you, man. Hello, how are you? I'm doing well. How is you? Hope everything is good with you. Welcome to the stream, of course. If I haven't seen you here before, I might, knowing me, some names I'm absolutely terrible with, so I apologise in advance if you have been here before. Kick started with Big Head Mags. Man, I'm surprised that guy can even run in a straight line without tipping over. Like the weight distribution from the rest of his body to just the top part of his cranium. It's madness. It's crazy stuff. With a head that big, with literal slab head that big. Like, I'm surprised that guy can even navigate through the tunnels to get into Old Trafford. The match days, even for the doorways that don't have the low ceiling or the low door frame warning signs, he still hits his head on stuff. Rumor has it that as one night he was taking a stroll, he tripped over a twig and accidentally hit his head on the moon. Like, his head's that big. Spun it out of orbit. He spun it out of orbit, and now the UK's fucked with the weather. The UK's absolutely just ended with all of these storms. So, we just blame Harry Maguire's head for that. Probably generates enough of a mass pull so that it changes the way that the whole solar system behaves, and that's now changed the weather patterns around the world. Maybe let's just blame Harry Maguire's head, the size of that thing. that sits on his shoulders. Yeah, let's blame that for everything that's going wrong. It looks like something that would be the Kickstarter to absolute carnage. So it's just something to blame, I guess. Hello, 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 Mama Flossie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Not going to be live for much longer, to be honest. Pretty much wrapped up on all the topics as well that I was going to discuss as well. Hello, Stephen Griffith. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in chat. Great to see everybody in chat. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have everybody in the chat, chatting away, the channel regulars, to see everybody. Really, really good to see everybody, and I've enjoyed tonight. It's been good fun. It's been a good stream. I've covered the topics I want to talk about. I'm sure there's plenty of discussions that will continue, especially with tomorrow night. And I shall remind everybody once again, tomorrow night, if I just get the confirmation on the timing for tomorrow night, that there will be episode 2 of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I am not the ugly one anymore. I'm the bad one. Tony, or Early Doors Football TV, he's the ugly one now. And somehow, some way, with all manners of miracles, Anthony Herbert has made it to the good. I mean, you couldn't have made it up. Incredible stuff. But that's the order of that is the order of what it is on the thumbnail. So I believe it's going to be 8:30 tomorrow. Yep. So tomorrow 8:30 p.m. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly show. And it's going to feature, of course, me on there. As the Manchester United fan, we've got the Arsenal presence in Anthony Herbert, and then football, early doors football TV, as the West Ham United supporter. And West Ham have had a bit of a torrid time, a little bit of a torrid time as of late. So I'm sorry, Tony, but you have to hold it this week. Hold it this week, at least for another week, because Man United do play on this weekend. You might have the last laugh when we get to it for next episode. So, watch this space. But yeah, 8:30 tomorrow, guys. Make sure to head over to that stream. I'm sure if Tony allows me to, I'm sure he will, but I'll always ask if I can also stream it from this channel. So if you can't find where the show is, I will also be streaming it from my channel as well. Should be, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be allowed to do it. But if I am, then keep your eyes open and peeled on this channel, because you'll probably get the show there. And I'll have both of the other channels for the other two fine gentlemen. They'll be on the screen for that show as well, featured in the stream description as well. So you can find all the links you need to support everybody that will feature on that show and all of that good stuff. But it's been a pleasure for tonight. Big thank yous to everybody that is in the chat. Big ups to everybody that has liked the stream. If you're watching on playback, please continue to do so. Keep that trends going and all of that good stuff. And the more, the merrier. And the more likes we get, the more interactions, the more it gets recommended. That fuzzy will be featured in more YouTube recommended. So if we can do that, if we can milk the system, then that will be fantastic. And it'll be all thanks to you fantastic people in the chat as well. But also, don't forget as well to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, keep that notification bell switched on, so you will know when we go live. And you'll know, especially with tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Stick it in your diaries. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly show, episode 2. Keep your eyes peeled, people. It's been a pleasure for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the good, the bad, and well, the good, the bad, the the ugly, and of course the beautiful. But until then, take care. Goodbye. I'm going to drink the rest of this, and then Tony, I'm bringing out the milk. The milk is coming out. Take care, people. We'll see you tomorrow.